Hi guys, I hope you're good since last video. From now on, you should be able to navigate the Kubernetes documentation easily, knowing what you are searching for. In this video, we will be covering a subject that I don't see much on YouTube. We have seen that Helm permits to deploy to the cluster containerized application stacks, but with your kubectl installation, you got another one out of the box called Kustomize. In this video, we are going to follow some steps and learn how to use Kustomize. If you are already familiar with version control systems, you will be happy to see that you can store your application stack in any version control system, Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab, and so on, and have a Kustomize deploy it to your cluster. Even more, it can create resources. We will also keep going in our learning of Helm by combining both, so don't miss a piece. Some important pieces that you might miss will make your hands-on fail, so just keep going and watching the video to the end. As always, open your Kubernetes documentation on the side, and also Kustomize has been introduced to the Kubernetes new form of certification exams, so this video will be very interesting. I have left a link in the bio for students who want to learn AI by doing, beginner devs who want to think at a service that they could offer, or business owners who want to use AI for themselves. It is free. There is a guide PDF to download on the video. Link is in the pinned comment and video description. Get it now from our hub, check our houses. Also, please like and subscribe. Thank you for your support. Open your terminal. Let's get started. Okay. I have the folder already prepared. Kustomize. We're going to make a directory. We're going to work from this directory first, and later on we will be creating more directories, so you'll see me reorganizing those directories. So Yoyogi Harajuku, Yoyogi is a park. So Harajuku is an area in Tokyo where you can access to that park. Create deployments. So we're going to create a file, the deployment. I'm just going to use an imperative command for that. And we're going to be using this Yoyogi park as access point. So there is the Harajuku access point, and there will be some other different access points. This is just our scenario. And around that, we will be using Kustomize to do some deployments in our cluster. So create, deploy, Yoyogi park. That's how we're going to call the deployment. Image Nginx. We dry run it. We output in a YAML file that we name deployment.yaml. So I call it deployment.yaml so that it's easier to understand, because with Kustomize there's a lot of options in the files. So here you know that this is a deployment. After inside we can just play with the names. So I'll just get rid of those fields that we don't need. We have the application. It's called Yoyogi Park. It has an image Nginx, and I'm going to develop it a little bit more. So let's just reorganize it this way. So the name, I'm going to call it Yoyogi message app. There will be a message. So we might need a volume for that to display that message. So we are going to mount several volumes because I want to show you different ways to get access to variables inside a pod. So the volume mount, the first one is called Yoyogi config. The mount path would be in /config. Another one will be a secret. Read only true. Secret volume. I'm going to put a mount path, just one called Django project, my secret volume. Name Yoyogi message. Mount pass user share Nginx HTML. Just to explain, so this will be for the Kustomize secret generator. As I told you, Kustomize can create resources, so we'll be using that as an example to show that it can create secrets for you. It can also display some variables. And here will be the Kustomize config map generator, which will be creating this config map for us. Just check the indentation. And after we go, we just link those volume mounts to the volumes. So we have here Yoyogi config, which will be of type config map, and the name of the config map will be Yoyogi data. Okay, that's the name of the config map. So that's the name that will be used in the customization.yaml to create the resource, so that the pod will be able to share that resource with the config map. I mean, to find the config map, the right one. The name here is secret volume. So you just take the name from your volume mount, you put it on the volume. Here it's a secret, that's the type of volume that you are attaching. We call it Shibuya secret name. Here we have the other one, Yoyogi message, config map. The name, we're going to call it Yoyogi announcement. So here we will use a custom index.html page, so that I can show you that Kustomize, you can get the files on the side, and from the files that you have on the side in the folder, it will be able to create the resource and get whatever you have written inside that file. So it has access to it. We can still use Affinity to keep going with what we've seen in the previous videos. So we just get the habit to have this management of resources, just if you need it. If you don't need it, you don't put it. But the more control you have, the best it is. Affinity, not affinity, required during scheduling, ignored during execution, not selector terms, match expressions, key, operator, so location, Yoyogi Harajuku, the value. So we will need to put this as a node label. Okay, so we have our different volumes which are matching the volume mounts. On Yoyogi message app, pod will have access to those volumes. So here, I think I'm missing this one maybe. So that's match expressions. I'm just gonna move the indentations, and it's matched expressions with the S. So I did fix that, and I fixed the indentation. Label nodes plus create the site files. So we have one deployment created. We said that we want an affinity for the pod to be, to have the pod deployed in a node having the location key equal to Yoyogi Shibuya. So here I'm just going to use the controller node, because in my cluster the controller node can accept workload. I got rid of the tent. So Yoyogi Harajuku, I'm going to use different ones, different locations. That's the different location from which you can access to this Yoyogi park. From Shibuya, from Harajuku, I'm going to put Shinjuku. Okay, So one was already labeled. So let's see those locations in the nodes. Okay, this one is called Shibuya. I might need to node 1. Okay, now it's good. So I just use the option overwrite that has been suggested by the error message. And now we got it fixed. So we have Yoyogi and different entries, Shibuya, Harajuku, and Shinjuku. So now the cluster is ready. Now we can create some example files that will be pulled and populate those config maps. Okay. So we're going to show different examples. A .env file, for example. Let's start with that. Let's say you have a .env file. You want to pass the secret. Shibuya equal Hisogashi, or Tsutaya equal Buzzy, which is the same as Hisogashi, but in English. And here we go. We're going to create another file called, for example, a config file that you have, yoyogi.properties. And we're going to put here same key value, park entry equal to Harajuku. And after we have our index.html file that we will have on the side also. So from files that you have on the side, you can build resources in Kubernetes. That is one of the power of Kustomize. So here we're just going to put the color and the little message in the H1. Yoyogi is open today. Enter from Shinjuku. We're going to go for all entries, Harajuku and Shibuya. So you enter from anywhere and everywhere. Or, okay. So we don't need to stay 1 hour in this index.html. We got it. We got our sentence written. So now we can create our customization.yaml file, okay, to deploy the stack. Customization.yaml. Let's go. So we need here to set an API version, which is kustomize.config.kts.io. It's in a beta, it's a beta feature. Kind customization. And now we can tell which resource we target for this customization. It can be multiple YAML files representing a stack. Or here, for example, we're just going to use our deployment.yaml. But let's say we have deployment.yaml, we have more like ingress, we have some more, I don't know, replica sets. We can just put all those here. For example, here I put resource, and after has a list deployment.yaml, and you can put some other resources. Just give you the example in how you would enter those. So now all the config maps can be generated by Kustomize. So you can just use this customization.yaml in a declarative way to create those resources. So using it's generators. Here we use the config map generator. We're going to give it a name. Just let me put here. So this name, this one for example, for variables in the pod. Okay. Deployment.yaml. Just to show you which one I'm talking about. Here we have those. I'm just gonna copy this so I don't need to go back and forth to grab those custom names. Okay. So you take the name from here. Yogi data. So the keyword here is files because we trying to pull it from a file called Yoyogi properties, and we want to get the park entry Harajuku. Okay. So just doing this is going to create this config map, which will be able to read the yoyogi.properties file, and this file will be available as a volume inside our pod. And this one to create variables from this customization.yaml, but has literals. So if you don't want to use a file, you can define those key value pairs directly inside your customization.yaml because there are no secrets. So let's say here I put literals as a keyword, I don't put files, and I use mangakisa as a key equal to level 5. Here the config map, the next one that I'm gonna use is corresponding to the Nginx HTML page. The name is Yoyogi announcement. Just get it from here. Up. Come on. Has blinked. Okay, we got it. And after we go with the keyword files. So files keyword, because I didn't put the comment just before. Like for above, when we use Yoyogi properties, because we want to pull this from a file, index.html. I cut the index.html, so we're going to get this sentence present in the config map. Okay, so this I don't need anymore. This one we don't need anymore. And for the secret, we have to get out of the config map generator and use another Kustomize generator for secrets, for Kubernetes secrets. It's called secret generator. Now maybe you got the logic. So there is different ways to do it, but we will use the .env file way. So this is one way to use it, because we're coming from Python and we're using .env files very often. So maybe I believe that this is more explanatory to you. So Shibuya Secrets, that's the name of it. And here you use the keyword envs when it's a .env file that you have on the side. Okay? If you had a .txt file, you would use the keyword file. But here we have a .env, so we use envs. I suggest you to go through the documentation to have more details, because there are a plethora of options to put in this customization.yaml file. But here we're trying to stick to our scenario. So some options can be added, for example, to disable the automatic suffix hash okay? Because customization.yaml is going to create those resources, is going to manage those resources somehow. So for that, it will attach to those names suffix. It will also append that suffix to the manifests that you have on the side. For example, the deployment.yaml. All those names, they will have the same suffix. So I'm not going to use it here, but I just comment it, for example. You can also disable the suffix like that by using an option. Disable name suffix hash true. After, as I told you, there are other secrets like the .txt files. In that case, you just use the files keyword instead of the ends keyword. And after you just put files, under it has a list, you put your .txt file name. You just provide the path actually of it. Also, my advice is whenever you have side files, have them in the same folder. So, or in the side folder or in a deeper folder, but not in a folder which is one folder before or three before, because you're gonna get some troubles. Options that we can use later to disable suffix. So here we can use it as a global option instead of using it inside the secret generator. So I just get rid of my statement that we're not going to use it. So we might see it later on. Just for you to see that there's a suffix and that says no suffix after state of cluster. So that's the state of the file system. We have a customization.yaml in the Yoyogi Harajuku folder. All the files on the side at the same level. We get all the nodes. So there's nothing deployed. We get the namespaces. We're going to be working on the default namespace. Let's have a little break. We have set up those files. Please like and subscribe during the break. Apply resources to cluster using Kustomize. So how do we do that? kubectl. So it comes like that out of the box when you install kubectl. I'm using the Kubernetes version 1.29.15. And we do kubectl Kustomize. Just going to open another one here so we can see. Because this is the YAML file that has been generated. This is a way to do it. kubectl Kustomize, you just put a dot after to indicate that all the files are in this folder, and it's going to build the stack for you. And you'll be able to see what is built. You can already see that in some names there are the suffix with letters and numbers. Okay, so there's the deployment that we had on the right side, and here you can see that there is a suffix that has been added to it. Okay, so we get suffix everywhere. Let's open the customization.yaml just to relate to those secrets and config maps that you have created. So you see here it has created the config map corresponding to this one, the Yoyogi properties. The other one here, the literals that you have created. Here, Mangakisa, level 5. Same here for the secret. You see they are base 64 encoded. Those are the secrets. .env. And we have, where is the index.html? The Yoyogi announcement. Yes, it's on the top. And you can see it's well formatted. with data, and after we have index.html. So it's going to be physically creating that file on the volume. Okay. So that's the option. Now we get rid of Kustomize, we put a -k, that will be the option K, and we use our kubectl apply. So that's how you just modify it from viewing the resources that's going to be deployed to deploying it. Okay. It's like a Terraform plan. And after apply. So here we get the config map. We check if they are present. Yes, we got them all. We got this long suffix. We get the secrets. Here is the secret. It's Shibuya secret. We get the pods. We're working on the default namespace, so it's easy to call. Node 1. Perfect. That's where it has to be. With the affinity of Yoyogi Park. Let's describe a config map just to see how it is represented. Let's use the Yoyogi data, which is the manga kisa, Yoyogi data 2. And here we got our literal key and value pairs. Amazing. So after that, we can describe another resource. What about the secret? Let's see how it is. And that's good that you've seen before that it's encoded, but here we can't see it for sure. But we get the size 9 bytes, 4 bytes for each Shibuya and Tsutaya. We can exec. Let's try to go inside the pod. Here we go. We use bash. And we're going to see what is available in. Let's clear to have this on top. Now we are inside the pod. Let's check the folders. We can see here the config, the Django project one that you have created. So let's see what is inside the config. We can see Yoyogi properties. Amazing. Let's cat. Let's see the content of this file. We have park, entry, Harajuku. Let's now check the Django project one. My secret volume. Shibuya and Tsutaya. Okay, let's just see the content of it, if you have access to it. So this is good because it has been created by Kustomize. Just reading those files, following our instructions. Okay, here I'm using echo, so it's not echo. Just use a cat for that. Let's go back and see what is inside. Shibuya, Hisogashi. The formatting is not amazing, but it's okay. It comes just behind the root, busy. We can see here on Hisogashi. At least we know it works. So that's how we get access from the pod to those config maps. I can clear this. And now we can delete. But I didn't show you the HTML. Let me reapply it. We have time. So I'm just going to reapply the stack and show that the HTML page is working fine. We get the services. We don't have any service. We need to expose the pod to get that service on that port. and we just check if in our internet browser we get the right index.html, so if it is working fine, or did you get any error because of Kustomize additional suffix, for example. Port 80, target port container, which is 80 also, and the type not port. And now we can get that port number. Okay, that's what has been given to us. Let's get that. I hope that my internet browser is going to open quickly. Okay. And now we just check if it is working. So not semicolon, colon. I put semicolon. It's not going to work. See how slow it is? Just let me put the colon before it picks up the error. Okay, I press enter. We wait together. There won't be fast forwarding. It's not going to be long. Or we can go to the terminal and curl, maybe. Because I see Google on the top. That means that probably has picked up on my mistake at the beginning. Let's reapply this and open the terminal. We're just going to use curl and check if it works. Yes, so everything is fine. It works without any issues. Okay. Okay, and now this is working also, after 1 hour. Okay, Yoyogi is open today, and you can enter from Shinjuku, Harajuku, or Shibuya. Now we can use the command kubectl delete option. Get rid of the service first, because this has been manually created, so it's not handled by the stack. But if you want, you can create a service.yaml file so that Kustomize is going to be handling that. So when you're tearing down, you just enter one command with the option K, telling it the path of the folder, where is the customization.yaml file concerned by that stack, and after it's going to be getting rid of it from your cluster. So this is a kind of introduction to it, very simple. So you've seen different options, and we're going to be stepping up on the difficulty by showing some more organized stuff that we can do with it. Let's clear this. Please like and subscribe during the break. We're breathing a bit, and after we're going to push the level a little bit more with Kustomize, overlays, and bases. So here the concept is that you can have overlays, one overlay folder managing some basis folders. Each folder has a customization.yaml handling all the resources which are present in that folder. And you have a kind of a master folder which is going to be referencing those to be able to handle the full stack, or to deploy whatever you want. One part which is a dev, one part which is a staging, one part which is a production. So that's what we're going to do here. So we have a Yoyogi Harajuku folder. I'm just going to go one folder before, and I'm going to make a new directory for that. So we are going to try to manage the Yoyogi Harajuku folder using a master folder that we are going to call message from hero. We go inside our new folder. And after here, you decide what you want to do. So let's start with creating a new message config map. So we're going to be patching the other one. New message config map, patch.yaml, API version v1, kind config map, metadata. We're going to add the name here, name, call it Yogi announcement. So we use the same name as the one that we used in the other config map. Data index.html, and we're going to change the color. So the color was blue there, so here's going to be red. Let's go red. And the message, Yoyogi Park, North part, heading to Shinjuku. We don't mind about the typos. Will be closed for the Golden Week festival preparation. This is while I'm doing this video. So when you'll be watching this video, Golden Week will be behind you. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks behind you. Okay. Let me put here a little comment. So this config map is to patch the one present in the other folder. But the one in the other folder will be created. So the other folder, we call it as a base. Okay, it will be created by Kustomize using the config map generator and the index.html file on the side. So we will be using this folder called overlay with another customization.yaml inside this folder as well, where we're going to put our instructions in how to patch the other one. That will take control of the other folder. So this is an utility of using Kustomize. So just think you have different GitHub repositories with different stacks. You can call those ones like that using this. You can pull those informations. API version, kustomize.config.kts.io is in a beta version. The can is a customization, and now we start giving those instructions. So we are going to use some options to play with it, but go to the documentation to see more, because there are more. You can make a video, a series on Kustomize. A lot of fun there. So you're having fun with the documentation. We are going to add a name prefix. So I'm going to put some of the options here that we can use to play with our YAML config. Name prefix important updater with a dash, and after this will be appended to all the names, the resource base folder that we are taking control of. So the base folder, here we are in message hero. Let me just show, those are the folders that we have. So inside message hero, and we go one folder back and we get the name Yoyogi Harajuku. So 2.2./ and after the name Yoyogi Harajuku, and we'll be able to locate those resources. So in Yoyogi Harajuku, there's already a customization.yaml. That's how we're going to be able to get those resources. Now the resource that we are patching using our custom file. Patches, path, new message, config map patch.yaml, which is the file that you have created now. Okay, so the file that you have created here, we use the option patch, the option patches, and I just show you the folder tree. So I put tree here. Okay, you have all the resources of Yoyogi that you have created before, Yoyogi Harajuku. And here we have the customization.yaml and our new message config map, which is going to be patching the other config map created by Yoyogi Harajuku stack. Okay, we're just going to show the other customization.yaml file. And here we're targeting this one here, Yoyogi announcement. Okay, the one that's going to be creating the HTML file. Pulling on the HTML file. So we go K Kustomize because we want to see first. Okay, Terraform plan. And we put a dot. We have some errors. That's cool. Let's see, no such file in directory. Okay, so the new file that you have created, you can't find it. I believe there's a typo, something like that. C'est là, Creditizens, Kustomize, this is in the right folder. No such file in directory. Okay, let's check. I'm going to go the way in which I'm just going to copy the name of the file here, and I'm going to compare to what I put inside the customization.yaml file. Let's go in. Let's paste it just next to it. We're going to find the difference. Yes, I can see it now. Mr. J. Coffee map. Config map. Okay, now let's get rid of this. It should be fine. Let's do again customize dot. Another one. Yoyogi announcements no ver. It says no ver, no version. So there is a problem with the version, the way we've written it. The error message is very good because it's really precise. API version, it's capital V, not a lowercase. So uppercase. View the resources to be deployed by Kustomize. Now the command works. kubectl kustomize dot, and we can see all the resources. And we can see here the message has been patched. You see the index.html? Now we have the new one. Okay, and we don't see anymore those suffix because I've activated the option. Just gonna cat Harajuku customization.yaml. You can see down there I got rid of the comments. So now generator options, disable name suffix hash. I put it to true. That's why there's no suffix anymore. Apply to cluster. So we move this, we put a dash, becomes a K, we add apply, and we got our command. Very easy to format. Okay. And after it's going to go in the other folder. It's going to do the patching. We're going to expose the pod. Not Kubernetes. Why? Try to use auto completion. Let's put the yo, maybe. No, it's not called like that. You know why? Because I've put the prefix. You see all the resources now are named important updato. So the prefix, also the option that I have put, have worked fine. So that's why here, when you put yo, it's not going to find it. Let's get the deployment. And we can see important updato. So we get this now in front. That's why I added that option, so that when you're doing those deployments, you can put arbitrary prefix, so that you know which kind of stack you're deploying. Or you can put your name. Maybe people want to know who have deployed that. Important updato. That's the option. So it's in the pod also. Okay, so the pod here has a suffix. No, it's not suffix. This is the ID given by Kubernetes. So we got rid of the suffix, it's fine. Key get config maps. They're all important updato. Announcement, UUG data, and UUG data 2. Okay. What about the exposition of the service? Now we can get our auto completion. Perfect. And now we use the port, the same as the target port, and we put the type at the end. Type, not the port. Okay. Wait a few seconds. Now we just reveal that port given by Kubernetes. 32,334. The internet browser is already open, so it should work. Let's go. Okay. Yes, Yogi Park. No spots. Heading with a typo to Shinjuku will be closed for Golden Week festival preparation. So don't go from there, okay? So now we can delete everything. Okay, delete. So use the K, find the customization.yml from here, go in the other folder, find the resources, get rid of those resources. So that's how you manage a stack using overlay and base. Let's have a little break and breathe a bit. Please like and subscribe during the break, or comment. Kustomize plus Helm. That's the very interesting part of the video. We're going to step up on our Helm use. So this will be cut in two parts. One in which we're going to be focusing on Helm. When Helm works fine by itself. After we're going to bring the customization in order to manage the resources, the Helm resources application using Kustomize. I'll make a directory here called Helm Kustomize. I'm inside the message from hero, but I'll be moving it after to be a base, to be just not inside this one. We have Helm installed. Create local Helm chart. In some previous videos, we have already installed Helm. So I'm not going to show you here how to install it. It's just one command. It's very easy. And after here, we're just going to create our Helm chart. We're going to call it Yoyogi Visitor. Okay, so we go inside Yoyogi Visitor, and we have the chart, the boilerplate. Now we're going to be customizing the boilerplate to suit our needs. Chart.yml, change the description. So here I have put titles for every single step. So we just go in and we just change the description. You don't need to touch anything else. You can change the version if you want. But I suggest you just put a description, because that's not the most important part of the chart. random visitor mood going to Yoyogi. Okay, so someone going to Yoyogi and his mood is different, it's changing. Delete everything from templates. There are some templates coming out of the box just to try at the beginning. We just get rid of those. So we go inside the template folder and we get rid of all of those files. So the template folder, now we can cd to it, check if there's anything left. But we did a rampage, so it should be fine. Yes, nothing left. Delete everything from values.yaml. So this will be the stepping up in our use of values.yaml. So we will need here to put our custom values. Our values that are going to be used in the templates. Create or variabilized templates. So that's what we're going to see here in Helm. We have used in the past values.yaml. We have put our own templates. Now let's step up a bit by making those templates more dynamic so that you just need to change values.yaml file variables to actually modify the naming of different parts of your manifests. So we are going to put here, we just make it easy so that you get the concept, but you can play with it like, I don't know, from Python I would say how you would use Jinja. So you can use if statement and so on, and have full blocks of code in your values.yaml, which are going to be replacing here depending on the namespace or anything else. So here we're going to put a config map, a pod, and the service. I'm going to put all in one YAML file. It's the golden visitor.yaml. So API version 1, kind config map, metadata name HTML mood, that's the name. So we haven't seen it yet, but it's time. We will use values from our values.yaml to template this and be able to change those from a central place. So the namespace, we put the double curly braces. We use .values, which is going to refer to the values.yaml. .metadata.namespace. After there, I'll be having a dictionary, which is going to be a YAML dictionary metadata namespace, and there will be a value for that. Same here for the color. We use the data, index.html, config map, as now you are expert of. And we have the style, color, double curly braces, .values, .html, color. I use camel case. And after we can also use it for the message, vary, and here it will be .values.mood. We will have a variable for mood, another one for HTML colors, another one for metadata namespace. Now we separate with underscores, 3 of those. No, not underscores, dashes, 3 dashes. And after API version v1, we create the pod. We use the metadata, we add a label to the pod. The app, golden visitor, the name is golden visitor. We use the namespace, the same that we have used above, the .values metadata.namespace. We go spec containers. We're going to use our friend, as usual, Nginx. Golden visitor is the name. We're going to attach a volume to it. So let's move the indentation. The volume mount, it's going to be of name visitor mood volume. And after the mount pass, user share Nginx HTML. We add the volume and we link it. We just use the same name, visitor. Let's just copy it, visitor mode, volume, config map, and the config map name that I'm going to name it here HTML mode. And the affinity. So I'll just show you an example, but we're not going to use it. But you can go, just put affinity here, and for example, have a full block to YAML dot values affinity, and you say the indentation. So it will be indented 1, 2, 3, 4 under. So you can put the full block just under it like that and have it dynamic, because you're going into the value.yaml to change all the expressions. Okay? But we are not going to use. Enjoy the doc and share in the comment section. Share your knowledge. API version v1 kind service. Okay, so here we have the full deployment. We won't need to expose the service because we're creating the YAML file for it. We're just going to copy the namespace from here. It's going to be the same. Those are namespaced resources, service, pods. And after we go labels, app, golden visitor. So it's going to be targeting the pod with the selector. I'm going to use the same golden visitor and the not port, and same here, we're going to variabilize those ports, not port, and we're just going to give a port in our values.yaml. And here the port is 80 for the, here it's column, and the target port is 80 also. Okay. So we're done with the little stack here. So we have variabilized those values, some of those. Okay, namespace, and the not port, and the message. So I'm inside the templates. We have a template. Let's go back a bit. I'm just going to tree this. Values.yaml, create variables in values.yaml. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to go in the values.yaml file, and we're going to create all those variables that we need. So config map color text, which was called HTML color. We set a value of green. The moods, we will have different moods, stressed, happy, or nostalgic. Okay, so we'll put labels on nodes. If you need the affinity to, for example, if you need affinity to match to those, you can use those as a label also on the nodes, but we are just using it in our stack, not in the affinity, just in the message of the HTML page. So we have the mood stressed, not port 30,080, and after here metadata namespace in the template file becomes here metadata namespace. So this is a dictionary and default, okay, in the YAML way of writing it, and provide here the value. Okay, so we have customized our application. Helm will be able to handle it or not. Reorganizing the folders. Just let me move that Helm folder a little bit closer to the customized one, so that we have all three folders, all three different examples at the same level. So you don't need to do that, but I do it just to be organized. So we're just going to move it. Yes, it's still here. There is the chart inside. Okay. So that's where we were initially. Just go back. That's where we are. We installed inside the message from Hero. I'm just going to take this folder, Helm Kustomize, and move it back. Helm chart debugging has to work by itself first. So now we have our 3 folders together. We just go in Helm Kustomize. That's what we got inside of it. We got the Helm chart. And now we're going to make our release. If there's any errors, go and fix those. Helm Yoyogi, that's how we call it. And here we provide Yoyogi visitor, which is the Helm chart folder. Okay, you can't just do the Helm install Yoyogi, and now we can see if there's any error. Okay, installation failed, cannot load values.yaml, error converting the YAML to JSON. Okay, so there is a character issue in our values.yaml. So let's go inside, and here you see I use @ on the top instead of a dash to do the comment. It has picked up on that. Now we install it again. Is it going to work? And why is it not going to work? Because it's going to create a record of the name Yoyogi. So it's going to have a release but failed. So we might need to delete it. We wait a few seconds. Should fail a bit quicker. Yes, has failed. But not because of that. Has failed because there is an error somewhere else. Pod version 100 pod, no kind pod. You see pod with a lowercase p. So we need to put a capital, uppercase P. So let's go inside the pod. The kind is pod with the big P. Good. And another error. Let me run it again. It says spec ports. So I forgot the S. Here, where is it? This one. The key. Ports, not port. There's no boats. Okay, let's go. See, my terminal is bugging a bit. Let me clear this. Now we do Helm install and we're going to get the error. Already exists. Yes. In a failed status. So Helm list. So that you can see status failed. So you need to get rid of that name if you want to reuse the same name. So we're going to just uninstall. Okay, bye-bye the name. And now we can use it. Let's do our Helm deployment. Or release, maybe. That's how we call it. Yes. Happy helming. Okay, get services. So we got our service. So I forgot to get rid of the other service that I've created before. Let's delete it. Important update. Yoyogi Park. So we get rid of that one. After we are left with a clean screen with only the Helm release. We get the services. And we got it here. 30,080. That's what we have determined in our service. Let's see our internet browser, how it feels. Feels like helping us or not. In a quick way, Let's go. Yes, has picked up on the address. Problem. So now you're going to see another side of debugging, which is very interesting. So be patient. We get the pods. We're going to go through the debugging sequence. And you're going to find it very interesting. We refresh, still not working. We curl. We know curl can work, while our internet browser is not very awake. No, connection refused. Doesn't work, mate. So now let's check why. So we get the config map. We just check if there's no issues with this volume and so on. Config map is present. HTML mode. That's the name. We didn't make any mistake on the name. We're going to describe the pod now. It says running, but maybe in the events something happened. We check on the left column if we see any warning or fail. We see a warning, but everything says normal. Mount, setup failed, volume, visitor mode volume, failed to sync, config map cache, timed out, waiting for the condition. Okay, so it has been postponed, maybe, but there's a problem with this volume. That's what it says here. Okay, so let me check, because we always do those typo mistakes. Let's see how the volume is called. HTML mode, very good. Here we have the HTML mode, container, HTML mode, visitor mode volume. There's no typos. Okay, so everything looks fine, right? So why it doesn't work? Oh, I curl now, it works. Okay, so you see, you try to debug something, but sometimes you just need to be patient. Very stressed mode. So it took more time than expected to get the stack running fine. Okay, so there's a bit of delay, that's it. So there are nothing to debug, but we've been going through the different steps that you would follow in order to debug this error, and you would have found it. So now we can uninstall. Now that it is working by itself, so now that Helm works by itself, we can we can incorporate it to Kustomize, to manage Helm release, which is amazing. So we are going to create our values.yaml that will be replacing, actually, that will replace the default one that you have created. So Kustomize will be handling another values.yaml, and we're going to change those values like that. Kustomize the binary. So I've shown you that it comes with a kubectl install. That's why we get it out of the box, but the project has started as a binary that can be used also. So we'll be using the binary from now on. So I'm going to show you how to install it. And after, I'm going to run at the end of the video the same command using the kubectl version. But I want you to see the binary, because with the binary you can use another command called Kustomize build. So let's go into the kustomize.io website. So you just tap into Google, and after you go into the link, which is not sponsored link, you're going to be arriving into this page. Use with kubectl or install Kustomize. We go in install Kustomize because we want to target the binary. So that's another piece of documentation that you might find interesting. Chocolately for the Windows users, Homebrew for the Mac users. We have Docker, binaries, the Go source that we will use in the binary. There is only one single command. You get this command. I mean, if you can copy it. Let me see if I can. Yes. Here. Come on. It's a bit slow, but it's fine. And after, you go to your terminal. So I have already installed it, but I'm going to show you the steps. But just showing you here. So you put the command in. It's a pipe to bash. It's going to be able to get that binary. Here you get it. Tells you where it is installed. It is here. We have the binary. And after, you just need to move, or you use the binary directly from here. But the best would be to put it in your path, which is bean, user local bean. You put it anywhere you want, but indicate that path into your path. You need to append it if you want to use another place. So I'm just gonna delete it. So after you have moved it, it won't be here anymore. So I'm just gonna get rid of it, because this was just to show you. I don't need the binary to be here because I have moved mine. I'm just gonna show you where is mine, where is Kustomize. And you see I use user bean. That's where I've put it. Okay. So user bean. Let's just do a cat on user bean. Not a cat, LL. So it didn't copy the right link. So let me just put user bean. We grab that. We check on Kustomize. And here it is. Okay. Golden week is this week. In a few days. Kustomize binary options, quick discovery. Kustomize, that's the binary. H, and here you can see all the options. Build, that's the one we're going to use. Kustomize and target from a directory or URL. That's what is interesting. After, with the other one, also you can put repositories if you want to get your resources from repositories. And here we get documentation. For example, here, Kustomize tutorial comments, basics. That's what is good, is that you get the documentation directly in your terminal. Very handy. Especially when you have an internet browser very slow like mine. You just install it and you get everything. So, now you know that there is two ways for you to use the binary or to use the kubectl apply with the K option, which is the customize option, targeting a folder, or the command kubectl customize, and same here, you indicate the folder to see the resources that are how they're going to be deployed, how the stack looks like before being deployed. But I want to show you with the binary, and then I will run the one we have seen before to show it that it works well, so that you have a well-rounded view on Kustomize. We organize folders for Kustomize plus Helm. Okay. So here, Kustomize Helm. You go inside of it. To be able to use Helm with Kustomize, you need to create a charts folder. So you have your Helm chart called Yoyogi visitors, but you need to create another folder called charts, and you move your Yoyogi visitor Helm chart inside the chart folder. So this is the tree now. You get the charts, and inside you put all your folder charts. How many you have, I don't know. You just put them in. And after you activate the one that you want. Okay, so you need this intermediary folder called charts. Otherwise, it's not going to work. create a side custom UUI, custom values.yaml. I'm going to call it custom UUI visitor values.yaml. And after here, we're going to put our different values that we want to use. So the first was the HTML color. We're going to change the color here to violet. We're going to use the mood. Now the mood is not stressed anymore. It's nostalgic. And the node with the E, not port. And here we're just going to change. We had before 30,080. Let's put another 8, 30,088. Metadata, dictionary, namespace. Let's change the namespace. UUI Park. This will give us the occasion to manage a new resource. Create an extra resource. Let's do that. Let's create an extra resource called called the UUI Park namespace. So we will need to create this namespace because it doesn't exist in the cluster. So we're going to create a resource, a YAML file that's going to be handled by the Kustomize binary. We need to create the namespace, otherwise it's going to fail. Kustomize will handle this as well. API version 1. Kind namespace, metadata, the name UUI Park. Now customization.yaml. So now we can create this central file that is going to be handling this stack with the resources at the same level and the ones which are inside the charts folder. And here we're going to use a special generator for that. API version kustomize.config.kts.io. It's a beta version, kind customization. And now we can start our little book of comments. We need first to create the namespace. So make sure it comes first, as it's going to be reading from up to down. So you need to put the resource first. So what was the name of it? UUI Park namespace. Okay. So resources, here you indicate this YAML file to create the resource namespace of kind namespace. So now that the namespace is ready, if we deploy the Helm chart, it's going to be able to find that namespace without any issues with our custom YAML file. Custom values.yaml file. So what is interesting here is that Kustomize has an option to manage Helm charts. That's how it's going to be written, Helm charts. But there are lots of limitations that you need to know. So I'm showing you this because it's kind of fun to learn Helm at the same time on Kustomize, because we haven't seen it, and it's part of the exam. So it is a good way to understand how Kustomize works also. But my advice is use Helm for Helm stuff, okay? So there's nothing better than that. So Helm is more powerful using it by itself. But if you have a very simple Helm chart, part of your stack, that is not going to change much, that you don't want to do some rollbacks or manage the release in a certain way, at this time you can just use Kustomize. This option, Helm charts, which has a name, release name, values file, include CRDs if there's any. So when we used, for example, the Helm chart of Prometheus and Grafana, there were CRDs. So here, this would have been true instead of false. So option if you have CRDs like Helm Prometheus stack. You can use here also repo. So you can use also repo in the other customization that we've done to pull some resources from repositories. So if you have files in a remote repo, or if you want to reference a chart repo. But we are using a local Helm chart. So that's why we're not using this option repo. We don't need it. We just need to create this folder, charts. Okay? If you don't create the charts folder, you're going to end out in a forum online trying to find how to make it. And there's no answer. Okay, customization, Yoyogi. Here I come. That's the values.yml file I'm putting in. So you need just to show the path of it. Here you provide the path of your custom values.yml file. The name here is Yoyogi visitor. That's the name of the folder of our Helm chart. Okay. So here is the name of the local Helm chart present in the manually created charts folder. So we have moved it in the chart folder. The release name, we're going to use the same name. You can put another name for the release name. Before we have used Yoyogi when we used Helm by itself. But here the version that you put here has to match the one that is in your Helm chart.yml. So inside the Helm charts, we have just changed the description of that file, and the version by default is 0.1.0. But this is more when you're pulling that from a repository, because there is the tag of I don't know, the git commit or something like that. But here we don't need it actually. But I just put it so that you know that you need to put the version has to be the same, basically. I'll just show you some more options. That's why I called it the comment box. The values files, Yoyogi visitor, values.yml. So this is, if you wanted to use the default values.yml file that we have inside of the chart, you need to indicate the path from the chart folder that we have created. So you give the name of the folder, Yoyogi visitor, and inside that folder there is a values.yml. That's where everything starts. That's why you have to be careful in creating files and folders somewhere else when you're using especially this option, Helm charts. After, you can use values inline also. You can define those values directly here instead of using a custom values.yml file. And this, you put the key value pairs in a YAML way, like a dictionary, mood happy, for example. Do not port, you use another port. HTML color, you use another color. And this will be able to patch it also. Okay, so we've seen different ways of using values.yml. Default one, custom one, inline values. We can pull from repositories also, now we know. And we know that we need a version when we pull in from a repository, has to match the version of the repository. Okay? So here's the name of the local Helm chart, present manually in the chart folder. And here we can say .custom Yoyogi visitor values.yml. Okay? Perfect. Let's do a little tree from here. Again, we have our chart inside of the charts folder called Yoyogi visitor with the values.yml. Customize binary building, the deployment, enable Helm option. And we have the other files which are alongside the customization.yml. So let's go here with the customize build using the binary dot. We're targeting the customization.yml, which is inside this folder. We use the option enable Helm. If you don't use the option, it's not going to work. If you don't use the option, the error message is going to tell you to use it, which is good. Build from customize. So here I'm just going to put the output in another file. Because when we use this command is to see the resources that are going to be deployed. It's not going to deploy anything yet. We have an error, JSON unknown field values.files. Okay, I just need to come here, values file. There's no S because we're indicating one file. Okay, now it works. Now we can just check here. This is like kubectl Kustomize that we have tapped. So now we have the file build from Kustomize to apply to yoyogi.yaml. So you need the option enable Helm. It's very important. As it is not activated by default in Kubernetes, because we are getting resources from outside, okay? From outside the cluster. So for security reasons, it's not activated. So the administrator with the permissions can activate this option. So we will need that option. K, apply. So this is the normal apply to a cluster. Let's clear the screen. Then normal kubectl apply. If you're using the alias, you can use K like me. So how do we go? We go with a K apply, F, build from Kustomize to apply to yoyogi.yaml. And inside are listed all those files, all the logic of patching, of changing the values.yaml, of creating the namespace. You see it comes first, has created the namespace, and after has followed the config map service and pod. So now it's creating, we just wait. So we get the service, has to be exposed now. Yes, that's the right number that you have indicated with another 8, 30,088 this time. So is the pod ready or not for us to check? This is our values.yaml, so that's the same. So the mood has to be nostalgic and the color of violet. Let's go and see. So 30088, we just jump in our localhost port, not port, with a colon. Yes, it's a bit quicker. Yeah, very nostalgic mode. It looks pink in my screen, I don't know. It's not violet, but still. So that's what we wanted to have. We got it. So this is using the binary. You've seen the steps. You've seen how it can manage resources of some of the stacks. That's the power of Kustomize. We delete using the same file. So we get rid of everything. Now kubectl K. Same, but the same. So let's check that. Okay, so now just the same, but with the kubectl command. So one to check and the other to apply, as we did before. So let's do K Kustomize dot. I do it on purpose so that you see the error message is telling us that it can't do that, and we need to specify the option enable Helm. So here also you need the option, as it is not activated by default in the cluster for security reasons, obviously. So Kustomize dot. Now help, let me go to the help and show you here, where is it? Enable Helm. Okay, and we can also use Helm command, Helm, to indicate the path of the executable. So there are two options that you can use. One is mandatory, is enable Helm. With your admin config map, you'll be able to, with your admin kubeconfig permissions, you'll be able to do to enable it. So here I'm getting rid of the file that you have created before, and I'm going to use the same and create another file. Kustomize dot enable dot, just to say the folder here. That's where the customization.yaml is. Enable Helm, and we're going to put it in another file with a typo as usual called bull from Kustomize kubectl. Okay, yoyogi.yaml. Okay, has been created. Okay, apply F. Should autocomplete. Yes. And let's go. Let's apply this to the cluster. Namespace, config map, service, and pod. Okay. So we could have maybe changed the values in the YAML file, in the custom values.yaml file, but it's okay. We get the service, and now it's not in default, it's in Yoyogi Park. Doesn't work. We need to wait, I believe. Okay, get pods, Yoyogi Park. Now it's running. Let me update this page. Yes, so we got it. All good. Okay, delete. So what is good with that is, before, you see, I always use expose service, and after I need to delete it by myself manually. But if you have 1,000 of those, you don't want to do it manually. And having those declared in a YAML file makes life easy, and having a single command to manage several resources like that, just by referencing where they are, and by putting a prefix or suffix, it's amazing. We have seen Kustomize, the Kubernetes version, and the binary one. We have seen how customization.yaml file enables some features, very powerful ones, managing the deployment of resources to your cluster. We have seen the concept of customized overlays and the basis folders, having an organized project tree of resources. We have used Kustomize that has the option to manage Helm releases, but here I did that just for us to keep going in our Helm learning. Like in this video, we've seen the viabilization of the template manifests, but I suggest you to just use Helm by itself. It is more powerful, as here there are some limitations, like no rollbacks, no release management, and so on. So let's stop here. Hope that you like this video. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time.